Hey, it's A Humble Collector here. In today's video, we're doing an unboxing, and for the first time in I don't even know how long, it's not mostly death cards. There's death cards here. Don't get me wrong, because I've cut back a lot on buying them, but I've still bought a few in the past month and a half or so. But we actually have some other German document groupings and a World War One-ish U.S. item. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So looking at a couple of cards I had to open off camera. The first one that we have here is for a member of the List Regiment, Andreas Schumacher, Obergefreiter and Infantry Regiment, bearer of the Infantry Assault Badge, Iron Cross 2nd Class, veterans of the campaigns in France, Poland, and Russia, born on January 5th, 1914, and died in a field hospital in Russia on July 8th, 1942. And it doesn't say specifically on his card, but the seller had a copy of the casualty record from Ancestry that clearly showed Andreas was in the List Regiment. So the List Regiment's a unit that I collect for specifically. They bore the honorific of the 16th Bavarian Reserve Infantry Regiment, which was the same unit that Hitler was in World War I. That really didn't give him any special favor during World War II, besides the ability to wear a cuff title. But Andreas here is actually wearing his Swallow's Nest, I believe those are called in the collecting community, but that's a military band insignia. So Andreas was part of the band for the regiment, which is pretty cool. And the other card I have here is for Franz Lindelbauer, who was a Gefreiter in a Pioneer Regiment and died, I believe, during an assault on November 23rd, 1943 near Vitebsk. So Vitebsk is a city and a battle that I've done a bit of research on for a wargaming project that I've slowly been pecking away at for over a year now. So anytime I see a Vitebsk card come up, I do try to grab it, even though he was killed before the actual big battle that took place during Bagration. So moving on to the envelopes here. Looks like we got a sales invoice. Yep. This is one of the sellers that actually researches their cards a little bit, which is always nice. First card we have here is for two brothers, Franz and Leopold Hollermeyer, or Hollermanner. Franz here is a Gefreiter in a Schutzen regiment and was killed on November 13th, 1943, at the age of 41. And Leopold Hollermanner, who was a member of a Panzer Grenadier Regiment and died on March 19th, 1943, at the age of 31. And one of them, I can't remember which one, but per the sales invoice, one of these guys was in the 113th Sicherungs Regiment. So a Sicherungs Regiment is a security unit. These were units that were doing like rear line security of like depots, railways. As the war in the East kind of devolved, they end up getting thrown in as like stopgap units in a lot of places. They're pretty interesting. I have a couple cards for them that we've covered previously, so always kind of neat when they show up. The next card here is for Matthias Neumeyer, who is a Sanitäter Unteroffizier in an infantry regiment List, so another member of the List Regiment here. And he is a veteran of the campaigns of Poland, Belgium, Holland, France, and Russia, who died on August 18th, 1942, after being heavily wounded at the age of 29. We have a really neat backplate here. I've never seen this one before, I don't believe. Really cool. Stylistically, very different from a lot of what we see on the other death cards. So definitely a neat one. Next card we have here is for Karl Meyerhofer, who is an Obergefreiter in a Panzer Regiment, bearer of the Iron Cross 2nd Class, the Crimean Shield, veteran of the campaigns in France and Russia, who died April 19th, 1944, in the heavy fighting. It doesn't say where specifically. But he was actually a member of the 201st Panzer Regiment, which apparently, at least according to the auction listing here, is famous for using a lot of captured French equipment. So definitely something I'm looking forward to researching in the future. We have a very lovely HCOM 606 backing. I mean, that's basically mint. Very cool. Next up, we have a bit of an odd card. This is for Karl Baumgartner, who fell on August 12th, 1943 in the East at the age of 44, and he was a inspector of some kind. And per the seller, he was killed by partisans near Warsaw. So a bit of an odd, more of like an administrative officer, something we don't really see very often. Because, obviously most of the death cards are for actual combat deaths, and those guys tend to be pretty far away from the front line. And the last card we have here is for Johann Schonliner, who was a Gefreiter Infantry Regiment, bearer of the Infantry Assault Badge, who died on October 14th, 1942, in the heavy fighting at the East at the age of 22. And Johann here was a member of the 57th Infantry Division and was killed near Demidov on the Don River. And interestingly, we have a bit of an odd backplate here. This is a, if I remember correctly, I've seen this is a World War I backplate that they've actually gone in and added swastikas to the Iron Crosses on it. So a bit of an odd plate there. Alrighty. So that's, I think there's death cards in one of the German groupings, but yeah, that should be most of the death cards for this video. Moving on, we actually have a World War I era US item. So, I admittedly have not collected really much Navy stuff at all. I have a few pieces that I picked up here or there. But this year, 2025, is the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Navy. And so I thought it would be kind of neat to maybe, I'm not spending as much on Militaria right now because I have a lot of housework I'm trying to do, but I figure since I've kind of pulled away from searching out death cards as much as I have been in the past, maybe I could start looking at some U.S. Navy stuff because I think that'd be pretty interesting. Let's see, where's the best place to open this? Right here. And we'll cut through it there. And there. So this is a pretty neat piece. And it is a barn find, if I remember correctly, so conditions are not great. Look at that. We have a U.S. Navy flat cap, again, with some pretty heavy mothing. But what's cool about these caps is, at this point, they had tallies on them for the ship they were assigned to. So in this case, USS Kentucky, which, if I remember correctly from when I was doing the research, Kentucky was around for the Spanish-American War, and then during World War I, it was like a training ship, I think, if I remember that correctly. And we can see this belonged to H. Beeler, who was on that ship. This one looks a bit different from the World War I one that I have, so I'm wondering if this is closer to the Span Am era. But yeah, kind of a neat piece here. Like I said, conditions not great, but yeah, the one thing I will say is this is a barn find, and there's very clearly evidence of insect damage here. I'm going to stick this in the freezer for a couple days. And what that will do is if there is any larvae or eggs or whatever that are still stuck under here, that will kill them. That way you don't have the risk of moths eating your collection. Because I've heard some horror stories over the years of guys who, they get a uniform in, it's infested with moths, the moths get into all their other uniforms, then all their uniforms get moth-eaten, and then you got to get an exterminator in. It's a big problem. So definitely want to avoid that. And I actually recently bought my first one of these flat caps for a member of the USS Leviathan. I can't remember if I filmed an unboxing for that one or not. But yeah, this will go up on the shelf with that one. And I'm hoping to pick up more of these over the course of this year because I think these are really neat caps with some really cool history to them. Alrighty, and next up we have, so these are two German document groupings. These came from a photo dealer that I've dealt with quite a bit over the past few years. I met him at Max years ago originally, and he was doing a sale. So these were two groupings that he'd had for a while that hadn't gone. So he had them listed at some pretty reasonable, or more than reasonable, some very good prices for the amount of material that's in here. And if I get that off here. Alrighty. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of material here. And two separate groupings. Yeah, okay, so we'll do this one first, because this is a KIA grouping. For Otto Heisman, who was killed April 6, 1944, if the note that I made on the box when these came in is correct. Or is this not the grouping for Heisman? Oh yeah, Otto Holtzman. Yes, we can see a big notice for him there, which I've never seen one quite like that. It looks like it has... before I just stick my hands there, I actually do have... This is like a stamp collector's set of tongs. It's very useful for getting documents in and out of these sleeves safely. But, my neighbor's backing up a bulldozer. That's good. Let's see here. There we go. You think I'd be better at this? Oh, that's really interesting. The paper quality is a bit odd. I could have sworn there was going to be something written on the back of this, but I guess not. I wonder if this is the kind of notice that you post up in like the town church or town hall or something. But we'll stick that back in here for now. And I'm assuming these are archival quality sleeves, so I won't have to worry about getting these into a new binder for at least now. There we go. So we have what looks like a letter from his chief doctor. So it looks like the doctor that maybe operated on him before he was killed. And then, yeah, we have a photo from Potsdam there. The Veripass is cool, so I've never actually bought one of these, which is kind of crazy to think about. Since when it comes to, like, document collecting and stuff, these are really cool because you can research, get these translated, and, like, all of his service information is going to be in here. You know, awards given to him, battles that he was in. Yeah, so he was in the... some kind of communication, Nachschub. Oh, that's his training unit. There's a couple different Nachschub troops there. And look, he was issued a Mauser 98K and something else. These are really neat. Yeah, he was promoted Gefreiter, Obergefreiter. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. He was on the Atlantic coast, then transferred to the Eastern Front for Barbarossa. Actually, no, he wasn't in Barbarossa because that's 42. So he's in France for a while, 42. Got transferred to the East, was fighting at Volchowsk on the Middle Don. Still fighting on the Don. Fighting at Scheer, Donetsk, the Meuse. Fighting alongside 336th Infantry Division. Very interesting. That's information about his being killed, I believe. Yeah, really cool stuff. I've never bought one of these. I've heard about them. I've seen other people post theirs, but this is really cool, and I might have to pick up more of these at some point, especially when I actually get around to researching it. Put that back in the sleeve here, where it'll be safe. So let's see, what else do we have? So we have, that photo. A death letter there from the doctor, this funeral note. So we have some photos, including an old Mark IV tank, it looks like. I apologize for my neighbor making all this noise, but we're too far in now to really stop. So we have this is one of the British tanks that was sent over during the Russian Civil War and then was captured, it looks like. Yeah, because there's like a location there, maybe. I can't tell if these are the captions for the above photo or the below. Got some group photos there. His pre-war winner of 38, 39. Up here we have winner of 42. So he's working as a butcher for a little bit, or that was a friend of his up at the top. Very cool stuff. And yeah, oh yeah, Versailles. He visited Versailles while he was in France. Very cool grouping. And then the other one here, which isn't quite as... Oh, it is just loose paper. All right. So this grouping is actually for a father and son. So the father was Wilhelm, and he was in World War I and World War II, and then his son was in the Kriegsmarine during World War II. So we have a pre-war 1935 dated document there for, yeah, Kaufmann, Wilhelm Hansen. Yeah, in commemoration of fighting in World War I, some kind of document like that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, in the name of His Majesty the Kaiser, Gefreiter Wilhelm Hubert Hansen of Reserve Pioneer Company 47 is awarded the Iron Cross Second Class in the field on April 5th, 1917. Very cool. I actually don't have an Iron Cross award document, and I have this very cool one from World War I. And a few other miscellaneous items here. Kind of post-war document of some kind. It's like family stuff on it. Another document here. I don't know what any of these really are. This one's from the 50s, 1956. But I really wish I could read German. make going through these a bit easier. Yeah, just more like ancestry documents, it looks like. Oh, that's cool. 1 mark. That was like company script almost. Look at that. King of Prussia Reserve Pioneer Company 9. Or not number 9. Can't tell what that is. That's really neat. That's a beautiful... You need to scan that. That is a gorgeous print. What else we have here? Work release. 39, it looks like. Sommel book. And let me know if any of this stuff is really unusual or cool, because I, like I said, a lot of these documents I've never seen before. So, and then we have more stuff on him here. Yeah, there's all of his World War I service records, hospital stuff, more regimental documents, school documents, it looks like. And all these the stamps and stuff from his regiment are really cool too. Yeah, 1943. Post-war document from the 50s. Oh wow, look at that. 25 years of war. It's like quite the poem. I'm definitely going to look forward to translating that. Yeah, it's hard to really think about how many of these guys lived through World War I and then ended up in the second one. He was born in 1894, so he was in his 50s during World War II. I ended up in the service again. Really cool stuff. Oh yeah, look at that. Old Pass, June of 1920. Issued by the police in Culm. Yeah, there he is, Wilhelm He already looked old in 1920. Oh, yeah, I almost skipped over that. Look at that, British Army. Yeah, because I guess they would have still been occupied at that point, right? 1920. That's really cool. I've never seen one of those stamps before. This is Soul Book. Ankerfreighter Wilhelm Hansen. Yeah, Reserve Pioneer Company, number 47. Man, there's so much stuff in here, guys. And it's hard to really believe, like, this is somebody's life, really. I mean, yeah, there's a Herr Veripass. Yeah, Wilhelm Hansen's, this is his. Ended up at some kind of column, so I'm guessing maybe logistics. Makes sense, he's older, but, you know, knew how to drive a truck. That tracks. It has his World War I service here, too, look. Freighter. Iron Cross second class. Wound badge in silver. And some kind of honor medal, it looks like. I was told you always check the pockets because sometimes there's like photos and stuff in there, but it doesn't look like there's anything extra there. Another one of his soul books. Ooh, what is this? Stamps of some kind. They're ripped out. I don't know what those were for. So it seems like the bulk of this stuff is his. I mean, that's another document's like falling apart there. And this must be his son. All of his son's stuff's in that scrapbook. I think this is a journal, too. That one there. Military pass. 1915. Yeah, look at that. He was issued a Gewehr 98. We got like some actual more detailed service information here, it looks like. Man, I can read and write cursive. It's one of the last groups that got that in school. But I'm always amazed how beautiful people's handwriting used to be. I can't read any of this. I'm going to be honest with you. We can see his Iron Cross second class information he was awarded there. Man, there's just so much. There's so much cool information in these. Oh man, this is really neat. Got some kind of savings thing, maybe. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's a war bond. It looks like. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen a German war bond before, actually. Huh. That's really neat. Documents were so pretty back then. Like, you had these really awesome designs. I mean, we just don't do that anymore. All right, now this is his son stuff who's in the Kriegsmarine, R. Hansen. Ooh, okay, whoa. Let's look at this. Soviet Panzers, Gruben. Russian Panzer attack by Gruben, March 16th, 1945. I had no idea these were in here. Yeah, 4th Company, 3rd Company, Infantry Truss, a Cloister. Oh, that's so cool. I did not know these were in here. Yeah, here's day before, March 15th, Russian offensive. Yeah, 1st Company, 2nd Company. These are so cool. I mean, I hope there's more of these in here. That's awesome. Yeah, Matrosin, Robert Hansen, who's his son. So there's the chief of the buildings inspection. Oh, so he's a construction inspector unit? Naval construction? Huh. Oh, here's the actual, like, journal stuff. Look, 1943. Oh, dude. Oh, man, this is... he said there was a few pages of, like, journal entries here, but these are, like, packed. Look at these. Oh, my gosh. They just keep going. Oh, man, this is, like, an actual, honest-to-goodness, unpublished German journal of World War II. Oh, my gosh, this is crazy. I just thought it was a few pages of, you know, generic entries. We got, like, actual, like, doodles that are in here. Like, look at these. This is spectacular. Oh, wow, look at that photo. What kind of gun is that? Are those the, like, drilling rifles? Yeah, this is all just 1943. All three. Yeah, look, we got, tell you what, one mention of an MG-34 right there. Look, his 18th birthday. We got, like, some semaphore stuff. This is crazy. I know. I really can't say much more than that because I really can't read any of this. It shouldn't be too hard to translate. I mean, the writing's clear as day. Something about gas. And Winter 43. Warrior 44. I mean, look, these drawings are just so cool. Yeah, look, there's some of his comrades there. So it looked like... Oh, man. So it looks like he never actually finished it. It just ends early 1944, yeah. I wonder if this was something he was working on post-war to kind of document everything. He just passed away or just stopped, or... I don't know. What does Malenta Gremsmul mean? I don't know. Maybe that just means the end. Man, that's crazy, though, because we know if these or anything go off of in the front from March of 45... So, something that we see happen earlier in the war with Luftwaffe guys, right, for the ground crews, is that they start getting transferred to these Luftwaffe Feld divisions, right, where they're just thrown into, like, an infantry role because they just need as many bodies as they could put on the front. I've heard of them doing similar with the Kriegsmarine at the very end of the war. I think this is an example of that, yeah, whatever Wilhelm's son here, R, was doing... they put him in an actual combat unit at the very end of the war, fighting your Gruben there. That's actually incredible. I'm shocked because I think that grouping was maybe just north of $100. I really don't think it was that expensive, and like to have that I mean that's incredible, really. Now I have no idea what the content is, so the content might really not be that great, but still an unpublished, untranslated journal as far as I'm aware. And then, yeah, all of the many documents related to his dad's service as well. It's just super cool. Get these all organized so I can put them back in the sleeve here. Yeah, because I do occasionally do long form videos. I know most of what I do is the shorter, like, death card stuff, but I have done longer documentaries in the past, like the one that I did for James Franklin Bagwell Jr., who was a rear gunner on a torpedo bomber that died in a training accident in California. I did a reading of a 2nd Division unit history from there, basically the Battle of the Bulge through the end of the war. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe in the future I'll actually be able to put together, get all these documents translated, put together a story for him and his son, and we can go through that at some point, hopefully. But, yeah, between that, the other grouping that we have here for Otto... And then the death cards we picked up as well. Really, really awesome lot. And yeah, some different stuff, right? We're not just looking at death cards at the moment. Much as I love the death cards, it's nice to take a break and look at some other cool things. And of course, my World War One cap here for the Kentucky. So yeah, overall, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see y'all again very soon.